The original Magna Carta was a fairly average role-playing game released for the PlayStation 2 a couple years ago. Its sequel is on the Xbox 360. I never understand why companies do stuff like that. It's confusing. Anyways, Magna Carta 2, much like its predecessor, is fairly average. It has a fairly interesting story and some gorgeous visuals, but ultimately some gameplay elements held it back for me, although it was enjoyable while it lasted, and with that in mind, let's get into my review. Magna Carta 2 follows a young man named Judo. Now, Judo has amnesia. Wait a second. I think I've heard this plot point a million, billion, gajillion times, and that's an actual number. Anyways, Judo lives a fairly laid-back life until one day his home is attacked by random assholes called the Northern Forces. Having his home destroyed and his dear friend Marissa killed, Judo joins the Southern Forces in order to fight the Northern Forces and get sweet, sweet revenge. Now, of course, the story doesn't stay that basic. Various plot points take place, and honestly, the story gets pretty damn interesting later on. It does take a little bit to get off the ground, but when it does, I found it very enjoyable. All the characters have distinct personalities and some great voice actors to boot. If I had to nitpick, I don't like how the story is told. There just isn't enough cutscenes. I mean, there's talking sections, but those aren't real cutscenes, and I just have a soft spot for scenes with characters moving around a bit. Helps me stay interested. Low attention span, you guys. In any case, I thought the story was pretty good. Now, Magna Carta 2 is an action RPG, and it boasts that it mixes strategic turn-based and real-time elements into the game. Gameplay is simple enough. You go to towns, you buy items, you fight enemies, and you can also do a ton of quests. And I like it when games give you quests to do, because it's something extra, it adds to the game, and it's nice to have something to do aside from the main story. Now, as far as combat is concerned, you can attack foes normally and pull off special moves. By attacking, you fill up a meter, and once that meter is full, your character goes into an overdrive state. Once in this state, your character deals more damage, and by timing it right, you can pull off chain attacks with your party members to deal even more damage. Now, this combat system is actually pretty cool, but I also found it kind of annoying. See, you can't just keep attacking your opponents like in other action RPGs, because when the meter fills up and you've done all your attacks, your character has to go into a cooldown state, and you can't attack during this state. Of course, this is where you're supposed to switch to a new character and then chain a combo together, but if you fuck up the chain, then you just have to wait for the characters to cool down, and even though you get used to it after a while, it was still annoying as the game went on. Now, one thing I found interesting is that in the game you don't have MP. Instead, you have Con. You gather Con by attacking foes, and you expend that Con in order to pull off your various special moves. And honestly, I don't know how I feel about this. I like having MP. It's not really a bad system, but it works, and it's easy enough to build up Con, but I don't know, it's just not my cup of tea, I guess. Now, overall, gameplay worked, but it just had some annoying elements that held it back for me. Having to wait to attack aside, the AI is awful. If you manage to get anyone on your party to do anything relatively competent, congratulations, you get free cookies for the next 50 years. They will more often than not just walk back and forth, not attacking the enemies at all, and for some reason they can't use items, which gets pretty annoying when you're dying and all they do is walk back and forth over and over again, and basically you have to do all the healing. It's just very annoying. Bad AI aside, the game's camera is placed at a weird position behind your character, and in tight spots it won't hesitate to get all awkward and weird on you. I also noticed that sometimes when you're trying to pull off combos, certain bosses can just interrupt you mid-combo with a magical cutscene attack, and this was so freaking annoying, and every boss liked to do it. Fuck you, every boss in the game. All in all, the gameplay was okay, even good. I mean, it was playable, by no means was it broken, and the potential is surely there for some great gameplay, but that's just untapped potential in my opinion, and keep in mind, it's just my opinion. It's a lot of little things that hold it back for me. The bad AI, having to wait to attack, weird camera angles, and if they would have just tweaked some of that stuff, it would have played a lot better, in my opinion. Yes, again, my opinion. But all in all, the gameplay was alright. Magna Carta 2 has some gorgeous visuals. Environments and characters look great, and I really like the character designs. I know they get bashed a lot for looking, and I quote, fucking weird, but I think they look cool, and I really can't see why everyone is bitching about it so much. The game runs at a smooth frame, which is great because it uses the Unreal 3 engine, and some other RPGs that use that, like The Last Remnant, get laggy with it. Although Square did fix that with the PC version, but I'm not here to talk about that game right now. All in all, I loved the visuals. On the sound side of things, voice acting was good, like really good. Almost surprisingly good. I heard that the first Magna Carta had some pretty bad voice acting. I myself haven't heard it, but I'll take the word of random strangers I met on the internet. Magna Carta 2 has some very top quality voice acting in it. Most notably, the main character is voiced by the freaking Black Ranger, you guys. That's right, the Black Ranger. That's so awesome. The only thing I didn't like about the voice acting was that during combat, characters would say the same stuff over and over again. So, just as an example, if Judo overheats with Crocell in the party, you hear something like, "Big man, huh? Even so, you've got no skill with your power," and honestly, I wanted to kill him by the end of the game. The music, on the other hand, was also pretty good. Nothing really too catchy or stand out, but it did a good job, and I don't really have any complaints about it. But one thing I want to say real quick is, what's with when they bring games over from Japan or something like that, they feel the need to change the Japanese opening for the game because for some reason no one in America is going to like that. The audience for these games loves that. Stop changing it. Stop it. Right now. All in all, the presentation was great, and I really, really enjoyed it. Overall, Magna Carta 2 was a good game, but it could have been better in my opinion. The story was interesting, and for an RPG, that's a great aspect to have. The presentation was really good, and that's nice too. But the gameplay is what matters most for me, and that was just kind of awkward in my opinion. And it could have been so much better. I know for a fact that people will tell me, "Oh no, Andrew, you don't know what you're talking about! Gameplay's good and stuff!" But look, these are just my opinions and my experiences with the game, and honestly, I think the game could have been a bit better. So if we ever see Magna Carta 3, I hope they fix these small problems, because that game has the potential to be absolutely amazing. But as it stands right now, Magna Carta 2 gets a 3 out of 5.